What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with an update from the Persian Wolf, Hadi Choopan. So he is all rested up and all recovered from all that Arnold Classic preps. And now he's back in the gym, moving some serious amount of weights. And the thing is, Hadi Choopan always trains extremely hard, like an animal in the gym. So I have been following Hadi Choopan for years now. And this might be the very first time he posted something like a chocolate on his Instagram story. Which by the way is totally okay. But I'm sure this will come as a shock to a lot of his fellow competitors as well. Because if you guys remember, after this year's Arnold, Antoine Vaillant, Quentin Beastwood and James Hollingshead were talking about Hadi Choopan. And their remarks were that they do not even believe that Hadi takes a cheat meal even after winning a show. Now, all the top IFBB pros post their cheat meals on their stories. But we have this unique image of Hadi Choopan, that he has a soldier-like mentality, especially when it comes to bodybuilding, and he is a true perfectionist. And rightfully so. So, Hadi Choopan is on a mission this year. The way he showed pure domination at this year's Arnold, especially in Columbus, and convinced even Nick Walker's camp that this version of Hadi Choopan is unbeatable. This is the best bodybuilder in the world right now. You do not really hear that sort of statement from the opposite camps. But that is how great Hadi Choopan really was at this year's Arnold. So the thing with Hadi is that there are gonna be some shots where he is so damn dominant that nobody can touch him. Most muscular is one of those, the abs and thigh. And you can make a case for his back lat spread as well, that is probably the best in the men's open bodybuilding right now. Plus his conditioning is always absolutely nuts. Even when Hadi is off, he looks to be in a much better condition than most of the guys. So will Hadi Wimborne be able to bring him in that same crispy conditioning, the kind of conditioning that he had at this year's Arnold, for this upcoming Mr. Olympia in October? Well, we all know Hadi Wimborne has always been very consistent with peaking his athletes to perfection, so that is definitely possible. And you can bet that Hadi will be more mature here. He will want to come in better than the Arnold Classic. And that is also very clear in Derek's mind, that Hadi is going to be the biggest threat to him at this upcoming Mr. Olympia. And almost everyone believes that. So Hadi Wimborne also believes that. So I believe this is going to be another very exciting Mr. Olympia. And I believe this is going to be another very close show. Next up, we have an update from Jon De La Rosa, who has definitely added some thickness in all the areas necessary during this little off-season that he had after this year's Arnold Classics. So as of right now, he is doing Tampa Pro, although he hasn't officially confirmed, but that is probably the plan. And that show is happening in August, and he has got to win that show at all costs, because the other show that Jon is looking at, that is Italy Pro, and that is going to be Hunter's first show of this year. So Hunter was already on a different level than Jon last year when these guys battled it out at Tampa Pro. But this year, Hunter seems to be an altogether different monster. He is looking absolutely ridiculous right now. So the likelihood of Jon beating Hunter, they are almost zero. So he needs to win Tampa Pro if he wants to get his Olympia qualification. So it could have been really great if Jon carried that momentum from the Arnold UK and competed at Detroit Pro. I think he had a solid shot of winning that show and punching his ticket to Mr. Olympia this year. But he chose a different pathway. So the Arnold Classic Ohio prejudging version of Jon, that was easily the best physique of Jon to ever step on any bodybuilding stage, period. And if Jon is doing Tampa Pro, that means he has another 6 weeks to go, another 6 weeks to fine-tune things. And that I believe is plenty of time to replicate that same look. And with that added mass, I think he is going to be the favorite going into this show. And I think he has a very solid chance of getting his Olympia qualification for 2024. So keep an eye out for Brett Wilkin when it comes to Tampa Pro. So Brett utilized this entire year to slowly rebuild his physique, to rebuild all his size, all his mass that he lost. And so far the progress that we have seen, that has been really impressive. So he trains with Martin Fitzwater, and those guys are some of the most hardcore training guys in the entire bodybuilding industry right now. So now that Martin is done with his Olympia qualification, he's pushing Brett Wilkin extremely hard through these sessions. So they both shared the Olympia stage the same year, and that too for the very first time. And yes, Brett was qualified for the Olympia last year, but he had to drop out around 6 weeks out of the show because of that stomach problem, because of his inability to digest the amount of food that he was intaking. So these two guys, Brett and Jon, if they both compete in Tampa, that is going to be such a good matchup, because both of them are not big guys, structurally speaking, but both these guys have this ability to come in bone shredded and really peeled. So that one guest posing that Brett did this year, that was extremely impressive. Not only he looked huge, but his conditioning was really impressive as well. So all that work that he put in during the offseason for 2023, that wasn't just lost. he was able to rebuild himself because of a thing we call muscle memory. And that is why we are gonna see a bigger version of Brett on the stage very soon. Up next, we have a 4 weeks out physique update of Jon Jewett. So Vancouver Pro was the first show that was originally on his plan, and according to his original schedule, that was the first show that he was gonna do in 2024. But the man got ready so early that he decided to jump into Toronto Pro, and he was actually really satisfied with the look that he presented there. So Jon would have expected better placing than third in Toronto, and based on the overall condition alone, some people had him over Quinton Beastwood. But the judges saw Quinton Beastwood as the better bodybuilder, and they placed him ahead of Jon. So Jon really made some serious gains during this offseason after he was done with his men's open bodybuilding debut at Legion Sports last year. So just compare these two looks, and you can see the amount of lean muscle tissue that he added in just a few months. But that being said, men's open bodybuilding, that is a tough division. I mean, this is as hard as it gets in bodybuilding. And that is why even if you bring your all-time best, there is gonna be a genetic freak like Quinton Beastwood or Akeem Williams who are gonna be able to beat you even when they are not at 100%. So let's highlight that back double biceps of Jon Jewett. He has striations upon striations and definitely one of the most detailed back, top to bottom. Just take a look at his hamstrings, the glutes, the small waist, even his upper half. That is just crazy good. So Vancouver Pro is gonna be another awesome show. We have Hassan Mustafa who is coming back, and he also had another 6 weeks of dieting so that he can fine-tune things compared to what he looked like at Toronto Pro. So I believe he is gonna come in a lot tighter this time. We have a guy like Stanimal, who we all know is gonna be peeled out of his mind. He is always spot on in terms of conditioning. And do not forget Tim Bodisham, who even though has been unable to get the attention from the judges so far, but he's also gonna compete here. But Jon Jewett has a very solid chance of winning this show and getting his Olympia qualification. The former men's physique champion, Erin Banks, is gonna be the biggest name at this upcoming Dubai Pro. So they have a prize money of $40,000 for the first place finisher. So Erin made a very smart move here. So I really do not want to portray anything negative about him. But the man talked so much trash and so much crap about the competition after winning his first Mr. Olympia and his first ever Arnold. And that he got humbled so damn hard at this past Mr. Olympia, where he not only failed to defend his title, but he dropped down to third place behind Brandon Hendrickson and of course the champion Ryan Terry. But that being said, he is one of the best in the world, so he is most probably gonna win Dubai Pro, that too quite handedly. So last year, the Ivy Pro League also implemented some new weight regulations for men's physique as well. So I believe those new weight caps have been in effect since the Olympia last year. But I don't think those weight caps are really gonna affect the final look of Erin Banks. And I don't think his conditioning or his look at the Olympia last year, that had a lot to do with his placings, because Ryan Terry just brought something really special, and almost everyone out there thought that this is what men's physique should look like. So there has been no more trash talk by Erin Banks post-Olympia. It's all business now, and let's see what kind of a package he brings to Dubai Pro in 4 weeks' time. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.